Welcome back to another episode of The Trilly Show. Today, we are going off vibes and emotions, okay? First of all, before we start, I want to say some affirmations. I am happy. I am healed. I am loved. I am blessed. I am free. Success comes to me easily. Creating comes to me easily. I am abundant. I am living my dream life. I am attracting anything and everyone that is meant for me. Okay. So we have some ginger tea here. This is ginger tea. Tastes so good. Y'all should try this if you don't drink, but you like a little sparkle. This is so good. Ginger tea with cranberry. We got a fresh candle lit. Today's episode is about how healing gets lonely sometimes. The art of letting go. So I am in a season of my life right now where it is out with the old and in with the new, including the old character. So for me, the old character is the person that I was in the past who may have helped me survive, who may have, showed me the lessons I needed to learn, and who just, I guess, kept me afloat. But this season is about being in alignment with who I was called to be. And as I guess, go through this process of letting go of what no longer is, it's a struggle. And so many things have been removed and not yet replaced, right? So, when I say replace, I just mean like, it's not that what's removed is going to come back in the same shape or form. It's just that God is not going to take something from you and not give you something to withstand what he took, right? So sometimes he takes people, sometimes he takes a place, and sometimes he takes your old ways. Yeah, that's a good one, your old ways. So that's literally the process that I'm in right now. I'm in the process of things being taken away from me. And, it gets lonely sometimes because although I understand, right? I get what's going on. I understand why. I'm not questioning these things, but I'm still human, right? We're still human. We still have feelings. We still have emotions, and we still have to grieve and heal from those things, because whether it was good for us or not, right? It still was a part of us at a time. So you still have to go through that process of grieving, of, just feeling at loss and having to pick yourself back up, right? And for me, it's like, sometimes I don't understand, actually. There are things that happen where I'm like, God, why? Right. And that's where faith comes into play, where we just have to trust what he's showing us and what he's telling us, and allow him to work it out in the end. Because sometimes we think that like what's happening right now is permanent. And that's not always true. Like sometimes it's just for right now. It's not that you have to like forget about it or you have to like, you know, be without. It's just the surrendering to the process until it's later revealed. And that when it's revealed why and when you understand, I feel like the amount of clarity that you get in that moment is it's worth so much more than sitting in something that is no longer working or no longer helping or really just pulling you away from what you need to do. And man, does it hurt, right? Like, I feel at loss these days because while I'm not perfect and I'm still trying to understand myself, right? I still have to protect. So with dealing with, anxiety and trying to heal my nervous system and fatigue and, not feeling well, I don't have the tolerance that I used to have for people, for places, for things that I don't have it anymore like I used to. And I have to be mindful of that. I have to honor that. Otherwise, I do myself more damage than good. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't want to have the tolerance for those things because obviously they're not necessarily good, but I also want to be at a space where I have the strength to be in situations that are uncomfortable and, work my way through it. I don't want to, it's not like I don't want to be avoidant. I don't want to be isolated. That's not what I want. And I know that's not the plan. I know that's not what God wants for me either. But right now is like he's saying like, right now, I need to protect you. I need to put my armor over you so that when these things do come, because they won't take you out. So, and that's the thing too. Sometimes we feel like we have to like push ourselves to gain strength. That's not necessarily true, even though that can be true in some cases. But in this case, it could be a soft, gentle way of building up your stamina and coming back to yourself. It doesn't have to always be like hard work, pushing yourself, going through the ringer. That's not what I want for myself right now. And I feel like that's not, and I feel like that's not what God wants for me either. He's saying, you know, what I have for you is already yours. I just need you to work on your inner. I just need you to purify your heart. I just need you to clear your mind. I just need you to take care of your body, right? And allow everything else to come to you because it's waiting for you. And then, I heard something earlier as I was getting ready. I heard God said, I'll give you what I have for you as soon as you start doing what I told you to do. Right? Like, I'm gonna say that one more time. I heard God saying, I will give you what I have for you as soon as you start doing what I told you to do. So you're like, you feel like you're in this waiting period and you're in this season of like when, right? And like, but ask yourself, have you done the things that are actually necessary? Sorry. Have you done the things that are actually necessary to get you where you're going? And sometimes the things that you need to do is not the things that you want to do. Like you have your way of doing it, and God is like, I get that, but it's not sustainable, right? And the last thing I want for myself, I don't want to get nothing outside of my relationship with God because then I'll have to be outside of my relationship with God to keep it. And I need him. I need him. Like I don't feel right when I feel like it's not what God wants for me. And to be clear, that's an inner knowing. Like what God wants for you is what you want for you, right? We are just humans. We don't know how to, I'll say this. We have the gift of choice and free will And so sometimes we want to learn the hard way for some reason. And then we also like to answer to our thoughts that are not always our thoughts, right? And then also our flesh. Mm. If you continuously go by what your flesh wants, you're always going to be in need, right? You're never going to be satisfied. All your flesh wants is the things of the earth. Like, of course, you're going to always want the carbs and the foods that are, making your body feel sick. Of course, you're going to want to stay up late and watch those videos. Of course, you're going to want to date that person who you know is not good for you. You know why? Because your flesh doesn't understand the reality of what's happening. It's addicted, right? And it just wants to be stimulated over and over and over again. And that's where we have to learn how to be disciplined in who we are. And we have to learn how to purify ourselves so that when it is time to make those choices, we can easily say no, even when we want to say yes. Because the desire I feel like the desire doesn't necessarily go away. Like you don't just fully not have those desires, and that's normal. But I think that's the beauty in having free will, and that's the beauty in becoming a better person and learning yourself and being out into this world to have those desires but do the right thing anyway. And everybody's right thing looks different, right? Like my right thing is not going to look like your right thing. So that's why being in alignment and, being authentic to who you are matters. Because you can't go by what everybody else is doing and what makes somebody else's life good or make them successful and try to have that be your blueprint. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And you're going to feel so out of touch because you're literally trying to live someone else's life, right? Live your life. So I'm at that part where I'm like, well, what is my life? What is my life? Who am I? Who am I at my core? And the good thing is that when you're spiritually connected to yourself, those things are revealed, right? I can't say I don't have none of the answers. I don't have all of them. Some things, have to be revealed along the path, but I have some of them and they've been coming to me for a very, very, very long time. But it's hard because while you're trying to tap into what's being revealed to you, you're still trying to tap out of what no longer is. And that tapping out is a process. I'm talking about sometimes I just need to sleep because I'm so tired and I'm so drained. And it's just like, ah. But then I have this thing knocking on my spirit, giving me these urges to make these videos and live this life and talk to these people and create this life for myself of, living in good health and practicing patience and, looking in the mirror and loving who I am no matter what that looks like. Having a pure heart, a pure spirit, and just living free, just being free, not forcing myself to be anything, and let that be the forefront of my happiness. Just being who I am, however that looks at the moment, and being present in those moments, taking it day by day, step by step, task by task, not trying to get ahead of myself and being fruitful in that, right? Like being grateful for where I am now and not letting what I want and where I'm going dictate how I feel when I wake up in the morning. Like having gratitude for today and letting each day take me into that. And that gratitude is so important too because we're always focusing on more and we're always focusing on what's mine. Like you want to just hold everything tight and you want to own everything. But it's like we own nothing, right? What do we really own? What do we actually own? It's all an experience. And as I'm learning that, these are just experiences, I don't have to keep these things stored in my brain and in my body. I don't have to hold on to these things, even the things that hurt me. I don't have to hold on to that. I can be forgiving in those things and I can just let it go, right? And just be in purpose and be in my truth without allowing everything to feel like so heavy. Like you don't even realize how much baggage you're walking around with because you want to own stuff that you ain't even supposed to have. Why do you want to own that? Why do you want that? Why do you want to so badly remember how bad someone treated you? You know what I mean? Like that's choosing to own that. Like, yes, it happened to you, of course. And it's not to say like, you know, you should just forget it like it never happened, but you should also allow that to be released from your body, right? Just let it go. Like, it's okay. You're okay. Everything is going to be okay. And I'm just learning the art of letting go. I struggled with codependency in the past, and I've struggled with just feeling unsafe. So, of course, I like to hold on to things tightly, and I have a hard time adjusting to change. And, it just makes life really hard for me because meanwhile, I could be on a whole new timeline. I'm stuck in this old timeline that has nothing to do with where I'm supposed to be going and what's already laid out for me. It's already laid out for you. Your path is already laid out. The sooner you get moving and the sooner you release all of those things you're holding on to, the sooner more things will be revealed day by day. And learning to rest on the days where there's nothing to be revealed. Just learning to rest. Like there are going to be days where there's nothing to do. There is nothing to add. Just being, right? And that's okay. And to me, that is peace. Moving when I feel called to move and relaxing when I know I'm supposed to and not worrying about, am I late? No, baby, you are right on time. You are right on time. As long as you are in alignment, as long as you are following your gut, as long as you are listening to your body, you are right on time. And that's a process. We have to learn how to do those things, right? And how do we learn? By practicing. You have to practice that. And that's okay. Like, don't be afraid to make a mistake because how are you going to get better at anything? Right? So, practicing to making those mistakes to get better at being you. Isn't that something though? How, like, we could easily just not be in alignment and how that instantly can turn our world upside down. Like, there were, like, I always reference this one time where I was the best I've ever been. And my relationship with God was like the, I still get sad about it, thinking about it to this day. And that's why this is so important that I talk about these things and how I just talk about letting it go and stop holding on to stuff. It happened already. You know what I mean? Like that era is gone. You lived that life already. Why are you still living it? Why are you still blaming yourself? But yeah, I had an amazing relationship with God. And, I was so consistent and I was so in my books and I was so into my Bible study and everything. And it was just amazing. I wasn't drinking, nothing. And I stepped outside of that and I haven't been the same since. Don't get me wrong, I've gotten better in other areas, but it's been hard for me to rebuild back that relationship with God. And I know I do other things that are in alignment with the source, but I just miss that in particular. Like just being able to have that steady focus and not having to go through, trauma to revert back to being that person because that's how it is these days. It's like I have to go through like this heaviness, right? And then I'm not have to force myself to do these things because I understand the power in it, right? And to me, it's like, That's not the way to go. I want to be in alignment no matter what. I want to be able to easily make that choice. And it's a process, but I'm getting there. Day by day, I have a hard time. I struggle, but even me being on here right now, I was supposed to make this video days ago, right? But I said, I have to do it. You can't keep letting these emotions take over you and these feelings and this heaviness take over you, because you are better than that. Like, it's not, you are not your feelings and emotions. They come and they go. And of course, you want to feel them, but you don't want to allow them to move you in directions, because then you'll just be flowing in the wind in a way where any and everything can just move you. Right. So, and that's why that armor of God is so important, having that protection and having that strength and that faith to understand that even when something does try to come my way, I can still maneuver through it and still process what I'm processing without allowing it to give me a hard stop. Healing gets lonely sometimes. I don't even know if I even spoke on that just now. Oh, God, thank you for just giving me the strength to come on here and say anything, right? So, to speak on that, because I haven't done that yet, well, not in the way that I want to. Healing gets lonely sometimes. I've these past few years have been a lot of, how could I say this? As I am trying to move on to the next level in my life, right? It seems as though that every time I think I can handle something, I realize that I can't. And what hurts me about that is because I'm trying to be true in all of these things. Like, it's not like I'm trying to sell myself short, or I'm trying to do this and then do that. I believe that the issue is, I feel like as I am trying to get to the next level of my life, it's becoming this thing where I have to completely let go of things, right? Completely. It's no like kind of sorta, it's no like halfway in, halfway out. When you are trying to upgrade your life, when you are trying to experience the power of God, you have to completely let go of what no longer is. You have to. And trust that God is going to replace and repair you and restore you and transform you in ways that you cannot even imagine. You holding on to something thinking that you can't live without it, or that you feel like you're scared to let go because you don't want to have to let go forever, right? Anything that is meant to be in your life, anybody that is meant to be in your life, they have their own path. They have their own timing. And you have to trust God enough too to say, I trust that you will do the work in their lives too. Oh, yes, there it is. That is so good. Trusting that God will do the work in your loved ones' lives too. I know it's hard. I know you always been the good friend. I know you always been the comfort friend, the friend with the best advice, the fun friend, right? The one that people can always call on. And there's two sides to that. One, there's you being a good person, and the other side is not knowing how to see yourself outside of being the doer. So there's two sides. It's not just that these people need you. You also need to be that person so that you can feel something. And you're afraid to let go of that feeling of being needed, of being wanted, of being useful. But God is saying, I can give you that. I can give you that. You don't need to go out and do more than I've asked you to do and burning yourself out to feel something that God will supply to you effortlessly. You don't have to go out and grab it and get it. So we have to trust that not only will He heal us in the areas where we lack that even causes us to not be able to let it go, but also that He will do His work in our loved ones' lives to where they will be fine. They will be okay. We have to gracefully take space so that we could see what is in front of us, so that we can hear and think of the ideas and the revelations that are waiting for us. You don't even realize, you just take one day to yourself, that idea that's been waiting, that you've been like, I don't know what to do next. You know why you don't know? Because you haven't given yourself space and time to hear yourself even think. Turn the TV off, get off the phone, stay in the house this weekend, right? Sometimes you got to turn the music off too and do something that uplifts your spirit. Meditate, pray, write, right? I'm telling you, I could literally be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I feel this, I feel that. I take a shower and I actually am intentional about it. And that's another thing. Intention matters. You can't just do things just to do it. You have to be intentional about it. So I'm intentionally letting the water touch my body, and I'm embracing that feeling. I'm embracing, cleansing myself. I'm not thinking about nothing else but what I'm doing right now. And there it comes. The ideas, the thoughts, the everything. It all comes right then and there. And so, yes, healing gets lonely sometimes. But sometimes we need that moment to hear ourselves. Sometimes we need those moments to embrace ourselves without the distractions of others, without the noise of the world, without the noise of our own selves. Sometimes we doing so much, we saying so much, we not even listening to ourselves. It's just a bunch of noise. Do this, do that. You should be doing it. Do that. Relax. Relax. That's me though. I be thinking about so many things. You should make this video and then do a TikTok about that and then post that to your Instagram and just do one thing and let the other things come, and they will come. Like my first TikTok. You know how long I've been told you should make a TikTok, you should make a TikTok. I didn't feel called to make TikTok at the time. I had so much other things that I was having a hard time doing. I couldn't add something else to the plate, right? But the moment I started to get better in those areas, that's when I felt called, like chilling in bed, and I just heard, make this video, make a TikTok out of this video. And I'm telling you, like, I heard what to do and I heard what part of the video to use. I made the TikTok. That TikTok has almost 800 views and 200 likes. And it's not even about the views or the likes, but I feel like that also shows my alignment. Like when you do things when you feel called to do them and not when you're trying to push yourself to feel something, you will also reap the benefits of that, whether it be instantly or in the long term. And that's another thing I've been thinking about, learning how to accept that some things take time, right? You released this amazing video. You took some amazing pictures. You had an amazing talk. It's okay that you didn't get the results you wanted right now, but that will be revealed over time why you did that thing. Whether it be one person who comments, two people who comment, or the perfect person who sees it and writes you and says, hey, look, I have a opportunity for you. I like this. I like that. The opportunity of a lifetime. But we have to, we can't allow, being stimulated and instant gratification to stop us from doing what we're being called to do, because If you don't do that thing when you're called to do it, you're going to miss out on the reason you did it in the first place, right? So, and you may not always know why you're doing something, why you're saying something. You might not even always agree with what you're saying and what you're doing. And agreement doesn't mean like, I don't want to do it. I don't feel right. It's just more so like, you may not feel confident enough. You may feel like, because you're stuck in those old mindsets and mind frames, like, this ain't for me. But God is like, yes, it is. And I'm going to show you. And wait till you find out who's waiting for you on the other side to be healed by your words, to be touched by your voice. Someone to just understand you. Like, you think that is doesn't make sense, or why me? But God is like, I'm going to show you. But you have to start. You have to rest in it, right? You have to trust yourself. And you have to get past those emotions that could be very crippling to your growth. Because the emotions I experience, they're so heavy. They're so heavy. And they will sometimes allow me to lay in bed for an amount of time that, I could be being fruitful. And you have to figure out what being fruitful looks like for you. And not letting a routine stop you. We want to do the same things the same ways. And what has that done for you? Even if it worked in a past season, we have to realize when the time is up, right? Like, time's up. That's not working no more. It's not doing what it used to do. We have to find new ways to be practical. We have to find new ways to be disciplined. We have to find new ways to show up for ourselves. And when you have that overflow, you should be pouring from that. Like, you never want to pour from your cup when it's there's not a lot going on. You want to constantly be taking that time to yourself and, pouring into yourself so that there's an overflow now to where, like, you have no choice but to share. Like, it's so much. You're like, oh, wait, and you get some, and you get some love. And that's just understanding yourself and loving yourself enough to allow your cup to even be full, right? Sometimes we don't even think we deserve what we have and what we get. And we allow our minds to trick us into thinking we'll never have that much. Not knowing that God is infinite. That is an infinite God. To infinity and beyond. The stars, the moon, the sun, the planets. Ain't nothing you can't have, and ain't nothing that you cannot do. Okay? So, I know it gets lonely, and I have my days, but God, I trust you, and I thank you for just allowing me to have a platform and a voice and thoughts that curate words that come out of my mouth and allow me to heal and allow me to help somebody else heal. God, I trust you. It gets sad. It gets a little dark, but I understand that after the storm is sunshine and clarity. And I just have to trust that whatever this is and what I am experiencing right now is not my destination. I just want to let you know that you got this. There is nothing that you cannot do because you are a powerful being in yourself, right? There is nothing that you can't learn. There's nothing that you can't start. There's nothing that you can't end because you are a powerful being. You have the power to become. You have the choice to become. And I pray that you choose things that are good for you. I pray that you choose things that are going to uplift you. I pray that you choose things that are going to make life easy, beautiful, and, but also allows you to build character because that is also a part of your growth, building your character, becoming stronger, becoming wiser, becoming more knowledgeable, becoming more lovable, right? So although it may feel, lonely and heavy right now, but you are not alone. You are working with and walking with something that is beyond your knowing. And God is going to guide you to the right places, the right people, and the right situations at the right time. And, it's going to be more than you could have ever had in your past season. That past season it's ran its course. And when it's time to change and when it's time to grow and things are being removed and things are being restructured and changed around, do not fret because when those pieces start to come back into, the puzzle, and when those new puzzle pieces start to show up on the board, first of all, anything that is taking away but is not gone forever, you have to understand that those things need to be revitalized too. Those people need to be revitalized too. They need to go through their own, renewing. They need to go through their own season so that you guys can both grow. And when those things are back on the puzzle board and when those new pieces come back on the puzzle board, it's going to fit so well and it's going to look so beautiful and you're going to feel so complete because it's going to match your frequency. It's going to match your vibration. You don't want to have things, whether you think it's new and beautiful and great, if it's not on a frequency that is in alignment, then you're going to lose it for good. And the last thing you want to do is lose something that you're meant to have, but it's just not in alignment right now. Oh, this is a word for somebody. The right thing at the wrong time could feel like the wrong thing. There's, there's somebody out there right now who feels like they have access to what they've always wanted, right? And they are putting themselves in position. But God knows you in a way where He's saying, although you believe you have access to that, I want you to understand that there are things that I'm still trying to work within you. There are things that I'm still trying to help you with. There are thoughts you still struggle with. There are emotions you still struggle with. There are patterns and habits that you have yet to fix, in which having that, you will, one, either lose it, abuse it, right? And the last thing we want to do is abuse something that we're supposed to have. And abuse, let me be clear with that word. Abuse meaning overly using. That's abuse at that point. And feel like it's not meant for you. So then you turn your head towards something that was for you. You're turning your back on something that you felt like, I thought I wanted that and I thought that was for me. And now look, no, that was for you. It was. It just wasn't for you at that time. And we have to trust God enough to say, I understand timing and I understand faith, and I'm not going to allow myself to have something that I know I'm not ready for. I just have to take care of myself and I have to do better with, allowing God to do His work in my life and trusting myself enough to get the work done with or without what I believe I need to do it because I am equipped. I can and I will, and I cannot let these emotions and these situations that are coming to pass stop me from getting where I need to go, because when I get where I need to go, I have a much brighter perspective and I have a much better way of handling these things, and they will actually be worth it in that moment, in that season of my life, rather. So I thank you guys for watching. I pray for anyone out there who is experiencing life in a way that, feels lonely or feels hard or like you're not sure. I experience those emotions every single day. Just be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and, allow yourself some grace. You're just a person, you're still learning, you're still growing, and, take care of yourself. Do as much as you can, little by little, day by day, and you'll build up that momentum eventually. And before you know it, you'll be in a brighter time, and, you'll be able to see yourself outside of your trauma and your losses and things of that sort. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to work out for the better. We just have to give it time, and we have to work on ourselves in the meanwhile. Don't sit around and don't do nothing, waiting for something to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You have to put yourself in position for something to happen for you. And it ain't got to be nothing that burns you out and, takes from you. It could be as simple as taking care of your body. It could be as simple as healthy diet. It can be as simple as meditating. Little by little, day by day, just do one thing today, do one thing tomorrow. And before you know it, it'll all add up, and you're going to be the best you've ever been. I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and everything is going to be all right.